Hi, this is Trev and welcome to my blog. This is part 3 of my Bedford CA van restoration project. Rather than just cutting a channel out of this floor, it's got a lot of strengthening underneath that I don't want to cut through because it will completely ruin the integrity of the vehicle. So I've used a spot weld drill. I've drilled all the spot welds out from the strengthening. And then what I'm going to do then is I'm going to cut the floor through here past the handbrake, make a nice neat cut, and then what I'll probably end up with is a nice neat hole here for the gear stick to come through. Obviously put all the floor back in and make it look nice and original afterwards. Be a lot neater than just butchering a great big piece out. Somebody's already had a go at it here. I'm assuming it's what they did back in 1981 when they partially stripped the old original engine. So I don't quite know what's gone on there, but obviously I'll have to repair that afterwards. I've just winched the engine into position just to see where we are. Very tight indeed, very tight indeed. I'm going to have to remove the anti-roll bar to lower the engine down. This dry shaft holder originally, I'll have to come off anyway, so I'll just take that off now. Catalytic converter definitely needs taking off. And I think I'm going to have to remove that near side inner flitch panel. I might take the whole thing out neatly by the spot welds, and then I can modify it and then weld it back in where it would have originally joined to make a nice neat job. Also I'm going to have to get the crane, make the crane a lot lower to the engine somehow, so I can clear that bulkhead panel, flitch panel, whatever it's called. I just did a trial fit of the engine, the second trial fit, and it's not going to go in. The steering idler arm is right in the way of the starter motor. Biggest problem I've got. The other problem I've got is because of the engine width. The inlet side hits this flitch and it's squashed against this flitch, and then the back of the sump is squashed against this chassis rail. I can't lift the engine up high enough to miss this chassis rail to get the engine in because of that scuttle panel. It's like working on an engine with the bonnet half down. Anyway, I had a chat to a nice mate of mine, Mr. Wills, and he said, Trev, ditch the steering, man. He said, just stick a rack in it. So I think I might take Mr. Wills' advice. Mr. Wills, 1/3 man, 1/3 life support, and 1/3 Jack Russell Terrier. This is what I'm going to do. If we look at the original Bedford engine, we can see how high the original starter was fitted to miss that idler arm. So, take one last look at it because things are going to change. Drastic action needed. Drastic action taken. Steering box gone, all the linkage is gone. So, no alternative now. I'm going to have to fit a rack. Just shows you how close. I don't know with the camera pick it up, but the bolts are just behind there, and it really does need to go over hard on the passenger side to get the engine in. So I might have to make some chassis mods yet. So let's see. Here we go, 4th trial fit. Now, back of the sump still crashing into the chassis. as luck would have it, this is where the starter motor is going to fit, and you actually have to cut out this piece of sump to allow the starter to go past. This is a recognised procedure, so nothing dodgy going on. When that's taken out of the way, it should allow me to get it past that chassis. It's very tight on exhaust still, but obviously when it drops down it will go under that piece. Still tight, but looking promising on the inlet side. Okay.
Yep.
Here he is.
What? Don't you put me on. Look out, Mr. Stressed.
They said you're a cross between a man, life support, and a Jack Russell Terrier.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Woof, 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 woof. Oh dear.
What do you reckon then? Big brief?
Fucking hell, Trev, yeah, just a bit. There, you'll get it there. I mean...
What I really need to do is turn this pedal box into a TARDIS. Bigger on the inside and smaller on the outside. Yeah, well, yeah, it's like TARDIS. Time and relative dimension in space. It's a little bit like biolocation, to tell you the truth. I mean, when you biolocate, say you wanted to go to France from the UK, you won't move from the UK to France, you actually pull France to you, which is very much the same as what I was thinking about. But unfortunately, this conflicts with the second law of thermodynamics, so... I was Doctor Who, you know. I've had a little go at bending this manifold in using this ratchet strap, and I've warmed it up because it's made out of plastic with a hot air gun. I'm not too sure how successful it's been till I get the tape measure out. I've managed to be able to squeeze the alternator back in, which is a bonus. I've taken off 35mm off the inlet, so that's bound to make a difference. This is where I'm at now. This must be about the 6th trial fit. Managed to get that inlet manifold now, just that side of the flitch. I mean, there's no gap there. Those vacuum pipes will probably have to possibly be moved. I was thinking of mounting them on the inside of the manifold and trailing the vacuum pipes through a gap in the top of the manifold up there. Also, I seem to have quite a nice gap for the starter motor now. That isn't the right starter motor, that's the original Zetec one. I'm guessing that the Sierra starter is going to be quite a bit bigger than that, possibly. Now, if I move the engine back, I've actually got bags of space to get a bigger starter in. The problem is, gear sticks right at the end, just before that cross member. So if I have to move it back a bit further, then I'm going to have to cut that cross member and modify it. Not a massive ordeal because it's actually quite thin, the metal, so I guess if I just weld a box section in there, that'd be plenty strong enough. And I'd rather do that than cut a main piece of the chassis out this side to get the starter motor in. So what's the next job? Well, the next job I'm going to look at doing probably is going to be, of course, the sump's too high. Every job on this car is going to have to be done because nothing is going to go easy. Of course, the bulge on the sump is the wrong side of this cross member. Now if the bulge had been at the back there, of course it would have missed the cross member, saving me a huge job. So No get out of jail cards for free on this job.
Oh, just about to see if I can come across any metal.
What do you reckon to it then, Matt?
Yeah. Big player. Happy days.
Well, I think this is a good place to wrap up part 3. I'm confident in my own mind that this engine will fit without any problems really. Next job is to obviously reduce the height of the sump, but first I'm going to have a damn good tidy up. Catch you in part 4.